Cheever. So the two Renaults are in first and fourth position, as Piquet in second place and Torbay in third in the Ferrari come down to La Source on the 27th lap out of 41. Still a long way to go, but we now know that the cars that matter up at the front have completed their pit stops. By the way, Derek Warwick has been in and made a pit stop, and that of course has dropped him down the field. He is, Derek Warwick, currently in 9th position. He was 10th and now he's come up a place. And here is Patrick Tambay chasing Nelson Piquet on lap 27. He's in 3rd place. Look for Cheever, there he was. And when we pull back a bit, look for Nelson Piquet in the there he is in the turbocharged Brabham. So Turbo Renault leads, Turbo Brabham second, Turbo Ferrari, there it is in 3rd place. Frenchman leads, Brazilian second. The Frenchman Patrick Tambay there is 3rd position. In 4th place, American Eddie Cheever in 5th position. And going well is Keke Rosberg, and that means to say, that will be De Cesaris' car. There is De Cesaris' stricken Euro Alpha out for whatever reason. I don't know what it is. The car looks perfectly all right. Obviously something must have broken. They had some electrical trouble in practice. Maybe it's a repetition of that. And after 26 laps, they're on the 27th. There is the order and the gap. Prost, Piquet, Tambay, Cheever, Rosberg, Lafitte, and the two Williams are in the top 6.
Yes, there's a great shame for Andrea De Cesaris. Obviously, it would appear to be some sort of mechanical failure. The car looks quite healthy externally, so he hasn't attacked anything with it, which will be of some importance to him. But of great disappointment, of course, will that he had a chance of catching that gap to Alain Prost and putting on a really heroic drive, and it would have been nice for him to do so. Now, in the meantime, Niki Lauda has moved up into 7th place, and he's right behind Jacques Lafitte and has been attacking him for some time now. They're a bit out of touch with Rosberg, but Lauda fights to get into the bottom of the points situation, and that he'd very much like to do because he's got a reasonable collection already, isn't he? But it certainly needs bolstering up a bit. Rosberg, in the meantime, now has lost touch a bit with the turbos. He's 13 seconds behind Eddie Cheever in 4th place, and so we must keep an eye on that to see if Rosberg is making any impression.
But once again, the Williams reliability is showing Rosberg and Lafitte in 5th and 6th positions, and the top two 3-litre cars, as we look at the charming Frenchman Patrick Tambay chasing Nelson Piquet. They are on lap 28. There are 13 laps to go at the end of this one, in this reduced by 1 lap race, 41 instead of 42 laps. Each of those laps over 4.3 miles, and that of course explains why the leader has only lapped up to the 13th man, because the course is roughly at least 25% longer than most of them these days. The 13th man being Mark Schurer, and out of the Belgian Grand Prix have gone Riccardo Patrese very early on in the race, lap 2, Thierry Boutsen, Mauro Baldi, Jean-Pierre Jarier, Winkelhock, René Arnoux, and De Cesaris. And of course John Watson, who went out as a result of that coming together that he had with Jean-Pierre Jarier. Piquet there through. There is Patrick Tambay, and mercifully the rain which we were dreading and half expecting has held off. There's no sign of it. I look up into the sky as I talk to you. It's pretty heavily overcast, but the light is bright, the course is dry. There is the 3rd place man, Patrick Tambay, and Eddie Cheever is about 2 or 3 seconds. Look for the Renault. Well, we followed Patrick Tambay, so you just missed Eddie Cheever, but he is about 5 seconds behind Patrick Tambay. There is the Frenchman down to Eau Rouge, where the cars, some of them, bottom on the little skid seal, toughen seal parts of the car that are there just for that purpose. And Patrick Tambay now on up Kemmel, underneath what will be a footbridge next year, because they've only just got this revised and shortened Spa-Francorchamps circuit finished in time for the race, and there are all sorts of details that have yet to be completed. Lap 29. We are looking at the man who is in third position in the World Championship, carrying that very famous number 27, which James had at one time, which Alan Jones won 11 races with, and which then the great Gilles Villeneuve had, and now, to the delight of the Italian Ferrari aficionados, is carried by Patrick Tambay, who won with it at Imola this year and at Germany last year. So Tambay on his way, and the race is, for the time being, pretty static, but the moment you say that these days, something dramatic seems to happen. Tambay third, ahead of him Piquet, ahead of Piquet is Prost. All those three have made their pit stops. Eddie Cheever must have been in unseen by us. And in fourth position then Cheever, followed by the fifth and sixth completing the World Championship points position, Keke Rosberg and his teammate Jacques Lafitte. They're coming up to the chicane. That will be Michele Alboreto from the look of him in the Tyrrell. There's Piquet. There's Tambay. It looks to me as though Tambay's actually closing up a bit on Nelson Piquet. We'll see what the gap is when they go up to La Source or past us. We're just out. There is Piquet, and the gap between Piquet and Tambay is 1.94 seconds, and Tambay is most certainly closing up on the second place man, the Brazilian ex-world champion, down to the Eau Rouge again. It's a V6 turbocharged car, the Ferrari. It is a straight 4 turbocharged car, the BMW turbo-powered Brabham of Nelson Piquet. Now they're going up to Les Combes, the highest point on the circuit. You can see how it overlooks the magnificent Ardennes countryside. But of far greater interest to Patrick Tambay is overlooking Nelson Piquet a bit closer, like overlooking his gearbox and then taking the chance to pull out and go past and take second position. But it's terribly important to Piquet that he should at least stay in second position, because now, if the first three finish in the same places that they are in on this, the 30th lap, in this 41-lap race, Alain Prost would take the World Championship lead by a mere 1 point. He's on his way to 9 points for victory. Nelson Piquet is on his way to 6 points for second place. And Patrick Tambay there is on his way to 4 points for third position. And Piquet has got past the Tyrrell. And that would lower the gap between himself and Prost. It would make the gap between himself and Prost 1 point. And currently, Nelson Piquet is 2 points ahead of the Frenchman. And the Frenchman has yet to win the World Championship. Tambay goes past. And it's Danny Sullivan, actually, not Michele Alboreto. Lap 31. Prost leads. Piquet that we look at second. Tambay that we look at third. Cheever in the background behind the green Tyrrell is fourth. Keke Rosberg and Jacques Lafitte fifth and sixth. Niki Lauda, who had a pretty dreadful practice on the first day, the Friday, is in seventh position. And here is Patrick Tambay on a replay, surging past Danny Sullivan, who is in 14th place. That's the man who finished fifth at Monaco.
Yes, it seems the chances of a three-way battle for second place have now largely waned, because Eddie Cheever is steadily dropping back. He's now some 7 or more seconds behind Patrick Tambay, so it's being left to Nelson Piquet to provide the challenge for Tambay to get by, and Tambay is really giving it plenty of go. Meanwhile, as Murray said, we never had a world champion from France yet, but Alain Prost does not look as if he's going to take forever to put that right, even if it's not this year. He's been threatening now for 3 seasons, showing great talent, and right from his start in Formula One, he always drove with great maturity, and he looks mighty dominant out there in front. He's now got a comfortable lead, 26 27 seconds, which he's just nursing. He won't be pushing forward to try and extend that. He'll just